This evening we're going to be reading politically correct bedtime stories and other modern tales for our life and times by James Finn Garner. I figured we'd do the Emperor's New Clothes. Far away in a time long past, there lived a travelling tailor who found himself in an unfamiliar country. Now, tailors who move from place to place normally keep to themselves and are careful not to overstep the bounds of local decency. This tailor, though, was very gregarious and decorum impaired, and soon he was at a local inn, abusing alcohol, invading the personal space of the female employees, and telling unenlightened stories about tinkers, dung gatherers, and other tradespeople. The innkeeper complained to the police, who grabbed the tailor and dragged him in front of the emperor. As you might expect, a lifetime of belief in the absolute legitimacy of the monarchy and the inherent superiority of males had turned the emperor into a vain and wisdom-challenged tyrant. The tailor noticed these traits and decided to use them to his advantage. The emperor asked, "Do you have any last requests before I banish you from my domain forever?" The tailor replied, "Only that your majesty allow me the honour of crafting a new royal wardrobe, for I have brought with me a special fabric that is so rare and fine that it can only be seen by certain people, the type of people you'd want to have in your realm. People who are politically correct, morally righteous, intellectually astute, culturally tolerant, and who don't smoke, drink, laugh at sexist jokes, watch too much television, listen to country music, or barbecue." After a moment's thought, the emperor agreed to this request. He was flattered by the festus and testosterone-heavy idea that the empire and its inhabitants existed only to make him look good. It would be like having a trophy wife and multiplying that feeling by 100,000. Of course, no such rare-fitted fabric existed. Years of living outside the bounds of normal society had forced the tailor to develop his own moral code that obliged him to swindle and embrace the emperor in the name of independent craftspeople everywhere. So, as he diligently laboured, he was able to convince the emperor that he was cutting and sewing pieces of fabric in the strictest objective sense of reality that didn't exist. When the tailor announced that he was finished, the emperor looked at his new robes in the mirror. As he stood there naked as the day he was born, one could see how years of exploiting the peasantry had turned his body into an ugly mass of puffy white flesh. I think that happens to all of us as we get older. The emperor, of course, saw this too, but pretended that he could see the beautifully politically correct robes. To show off his new splendour, he ordered a parade to be held the next day. On the following morning, his subjects lined the streets for the big parade. Word had spread about the emperor's new clothes that only enlightened people with healthy lifestyles could see, and everyone was determined to be more right-minded than his or her neighbour. The parade began with great hoopla as the emperor marched his pale, bloated, patriarchal carcass down the street. Everyone loudly oohed and awed at his beautiful new clothes, all except one small boy who shouted, "The emperor is naked!" The parade stopped. The emperor paused. A hush fell over the crowd until one quick-thinking peasant shouted, "No, he isn't. The emperor is merely endorsing a clothing-optional lifestyle." A cheer went up from the crowd, and the throng stripped off their clothing and danced in the sun, as nature had intended them. The country was clothing optional from that day forward, and the tailor, deprived of any livelihood, packed up his needle and thread and was never heard from again. The end.